All right, we should be recording or streaming to the YouTube. It looks like it's live, but I don't see a picture yet. It's coming on. We should be, there we go. Awesome, opossum. I love it when everything just works out great. I love it, I really do. We are streaming live not only to YouTube, we're also streaming live to our audio podcast in the background, which is really super awesome. We have nobody in the chat, but I'm going to say hello to the chat real quick. And hopefully we'll get a couple people in here. So while we're waiting for people to jump on here, how about we say hello to the panel real quick? And hello, everyone. My name is Sean Symons, also known as PPG Grandpa. You can find us at PPG Grandpa's Paramotor podcast and all your podcasting apps. But if you want to watch us live, go to ClearPropTV.com every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, we're talking with Cole Parsons on ClearPropTV and paratalk.org, but we're going to introduce everybody on the panel real quick beforehand. So we're going to start off with Brian Haybale Waller. What's up, buddy, old pal?
Oh man, just another great day in paradise. Looking forward to tonight's show big time. We got our great guests and had a great weekend down there with my aviator family in Florida, frying some turkeys, and I hope everybody else had a good Thanksgiving and safe travels. Man, life is good. Looking forward to the show.
Life is amazing. Thank you, Brian, so much for joining us. You can always find him and his shenanigans over at ppgbrian.com. We also got Jim Snard from Canada, my buddy that tells us that his money over there smells like maple syrup. Welcome to the show, buddy Jim.
Hey, Sean. Things are going well up here. Had a really good flight yesterday, and it was nice and warm. It was about 32, 33 degrees. Really, it was awesome.
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
That's Fahrenheit.
Woo!
Yeah, it was pretty warm. I landed and got way too hot. Too many clothes on.
That's crazy. I don't think I'd ever say I got hot at 32 degrees. So you're in Canada and you run a printing company up there. So if anybody wants to get decals or decals, as you call them up there, or stickers, make sure you go to carepp.com. And if you want to watch his flying shenanigans, careppg.com. Thank you, Jim, for being on the show, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We also got Will Fly from willflyppg.com. What's up, buddy, old pal?
Hey, man. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did, and I've got a lot to be grateful for. Had a nice flight yesterday with about 5 or 6 of my buds, and got to fly out of a big sod farm. Got to fly Scirocco 3 for the first time, too. That was nice. First own experience.
Cool. Definitely need to hear more about that. You got a video about that?
Just a short video about it. It was just a short little flight.
All right.
There wasn't any power lines involved, was there?
Yeah, no power lines, man. No hay bales either.
Good deal.
No power lines. Awesome. Well, if you guys don't know, you can run over to willflyppg.com. Watch his crazy shenanigans. He has a lot of great videos out there, and all of his videos are hit like 5,000 to 10,000 hits each. So, I mean, he puts out some really good content. So thank you, Will Fly. Welcome to the show. We also got ParamotorUSA.com. Linda Anderson. She's our cheerleader. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Hey. Hi, guys. I love my Monday night. It's a lovely 31 degrees outside right now, but it's so good because, you know, I'm a northern girl. I got to acclimate. I got to, you know, cowgirl up and get out there and do stuff. What are you going to do? Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and everything. And welcome Cole Parsons to the show tonight. I was so excited about tonight. So.
Tonight's going to be a really good show. And Linda Anderson, in case you don't know, she is our PR girl. If you want to be on the show, please get up with Linda Anderson. You can find her on Facebook. If you can't find her on Facebook, just go to paramomusa.com, and that .com will forward over to her Facebook page. Linda Anderson, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Linda. And of course, we got JP Tulo. Find him at jptulo.com. He's our JP Tulo TikTok Tulo guy, and the only guy I know that has a couple million views on his TikTok because a cat goes meow. Gotcha. What's up, JP?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here. Always a pleasure. How's everybody else doing? Good.
Amazing,
Good.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Anything new on your TikTok?
Nah, just same old, same old. Come on over and say hi if you get a chance. Mention the show and I don't know, do something. Give you a shout. I'll give you a shout in the next video or something.
Oh, you heard that. So make sure you go over to jptulo.com or ppgjp.com. Say hi to him on his channel. Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. But thank you, JP, for being on the show. But this is not about us, the panel members. This is not about, Maple Syrup Canada money. This is about Cole Parsons. He is our guest tonight. He's been flying for 10 years, 9 years already, since 2012.
Yeah.
Just an amazing guy. He has lots of great stories to talk to us about. So welcome, Cole, to the show. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank y'all. Glad to be here.
Well, before we go on, let's go ahead and hear from you real quick. Tell us about yourself. How did you get into Paramotors? And then we got a bunch of questions that we're going to ask you.
Sure. So I started flying 9 years ago, but my interest in it really peaked back in 1993. I was searching the internet and I found the old DK Whisper out of Japan, a video on these guys flying out of Japan. And like, wow, that's a great way to fly. You don't need a hangar for a plane or an ultralight. So I just thought that was really cool. And at the time I was just having kids, so, and had my first or second house. So it wasn't in my cards. So I kind of filed that away. And then 20 years later, I was driving through Grand Haven, Michigan, and I saw somebody flying down the beach again and flying PPG, and I'm like, wow, there it is again. So I got interested and went searching on the internet again, and I found all the Jeff Goyne videos and found the Paramotor Bible, and then I found out that Jeff lives right in my neighborhood, about 2 miles away. So I contacted Jeff, and he was really super cool and nice and knowledgeable about the sport. And he said, you're really in luck. There's not too many instructors around, but there's one right down the road from you. So he introduced me to the guys at Midwest Parajet, and that's how I started flying.
Well, I cannot imagine. I would have loved to be flying back in 2012. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions, but let's say hi to everyone in the super chat real quick. We got Mark Droids, Brian Waller, Bill H, Michael Fulmer. Glad that you are here, buddy, Opal. Nick Griffith, of course, Brian Waller's in the house also. Mark Droids, Larry K, JP is here also. And hopefully we get more people in here. Deweese Milstead's in the house. Hello. And if you have any questions for Cole, please leave them in the super chat. And anybody on the panel here, if I don't see the question, please interrupt me. Don't interrupt Cole. Interrupt me and let me know that someone has a question out there. So any questions right off the bat from our panel for Cole before we get into some more questions?
Man, I don't know which one to start with. I mean, how many different motors have you flown? I mean, there's wings to talk about too, but I'm just curious about motors.
I've only owned 3.
Wow.
And I've flown other motors, but I first started out on a used MZ100 on an old Sky Cruiser frame. And I flew that for, maybe 4 years. Had to rebuild it a few times. And then I went to a Top 80, and I just swapped that out on that old Sky Cruiser frame. And I flew that up until last year with over 760 hours on it.
Wow.
So you're a good mechanic too.
Well, I've learned a lot, and you know, there's some great folks out there and great resources. You know, you can't beat Hal Robinson at Southwest Air Sports, especially for the top 80s, and there's just a lot of great resources out there for that.
And what about wings? Like, I see the picture in the background of that eagle wing, and I just can't imagine what it would be like to fly that thing. How was that?
It's a lot of fun to fly. It's a very stable wing. It's custom made by Elizabeth Gorin. And it's based on a Stardust 24 made by Axis. So it's kind of tough to launch, but it's very stable and fun to fly. And boy, do you get a lot of looks when you fly it.
What is that? Is that the beginner, cross country, freestyle? What kind of wing is that there? It's based off of?
You know, I don't know too much about the Stardust, the Access wing, other than that's what Elizabeth designed it. That's the wing that she used to base that off of.
Very cool. I've seen it a few times. Now there's a couple of them floating around. That's not the only one. Is that
We
correct?
have two. We actually have two of them.
Okay.
A buddy of mine purchased them. His brother was a policeman down in Dallas who got shot and paralyzed. So my friend started this group called We're Just Patriots, and started it right before COVID hit. And it was to really go and honor first responders and people that were, you know, paralyzed or hurt or injured on the job. And it started getting that organization going, and then COVID hit. So we kind of sidelined it and really haven't done any events, but he purchased both of them, and, you know, we fly them when we can, but they're very unique. You know, you don't go too fast on them, but they're just fun to fly.
For the people that are listening to the podcast and cannot see what your wing looks like, can you describe it, please?
It is one of the very unique and few, I believe there's only a couple of them around, but it's an eagle wing. And Elizabeth Gorin made them, and they've been pretty famous. I know quite a few people have flown them at different fly-ins, but they're very unique. So it's a big eagle, has an eagle's head on it, an eagle tail, and this one, the two that we have, it actually says never quit on the wings.
Now, the head and the tail are actually protruding from the wing itself. So it's not just a printed eagle. You can actually see the head, it's in 3D, and the tail is behind it. So how in the world, I mean, I have no idea how they even made that.
Yeah, she is quite the wing whisperer.
So
But
does
it's made of
the,
the same wing fabric, and then there's some spurs in there that keep the head in the shape that it's in.
there's no opening on the head, right? The two center cells
No.
on the leading edge. Okay.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, that would be tricky.
So the rest of the cells are basically inflate the center. So
Correct.
gotcha. I wonder, was there any loss in lift? You get any idea? Did you fly the same wing without the Eagle configuration? I'm just curious.
Oh, no. So I'm a Mac Para fan. So I started out on a Muse 3, a 26 meter. And then I went to a Mac Para Eden 5 and a 24 meter. I actually still have that wing. And then a few years ago, I went with the Mac Para Colorado 21. And currently I'm flying a Mac Para Samurai 20.
So that's 4 wings, if I counted correctly. Larry K, WPPGA world champion in the chat. Wanted to know how many wings you've flown and what's your favorite and why.
Well, I've owned 4, And I've flown probably a half dozen or more. But my favorite wing right now is definitely the Samurai. I like the speed range on it. It has a lot of range in the trimmers, and the 2D steering I like. It's very responsive. Carves really nice. But one thing I just love about the Mac Para wings is just the safety factor. We fly in the Midwest. We're right outside of Chicago, about 25 miles west of Chicago. And we get some different winds and weather elements that come through. And those wings have never let us down.
Looks like Nick Griffith in the chat said that Jonathan Carr flies the wing like that too. So I guess you let Jonathan fly the wing, or you know Jonathan Carr?
I don't.
Oh.
But I'm sure there's a history to them when, through the years where they've made their way around the country.
Looks like
Well,
there's one for sale. I was just looking for a picture of it and it popped right up.
Hmm.
Any chance that birds are more likely to follow you when you're flying that big eagle wing?
I've always wondered that.
I had a hawk dive on my wing once. I think I was a little close to her nest, and she followed me for a while, a good 10 minutes or so, doing circles and stuff, and we were riding thermals, and she came up above me, dove down, and I'm pretty sure she bounced off the tip. It was so if that was just a regular wing, I feel like if that was the eagle wing, they probably would have could have been bad news.
I think she would have been scared of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because eagles are naturally bigger than hawks, and
Yeah.
especially this eagle. You said it's a 24 meter.
Yeah, it's a big wing.
Can I ask your ballpark what you weigh?
160. I'm 5'8" and
160?
160. Yeah.
Okay, right on. So
my top 80 and the Samurai 20, it's a good fit.
Excellent,
My
yeah.
weight. Yeah.
Nick Griffith in the chat has a question about the top 80. He says the top 80 is a bomb. How many trouble-free hours of that 700? Near all?
The majority of it. I think I went through 3 pistons. I rebuild the carbs every year, and I replace the fuel lines every year. It's a 2-stroke engine, so something's going to happen. But the top 80 is pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree on that. So, so you replace. Okay, so this is good though for someone that's been flying this long. You replace your fuel line every year, and you rebuild your carb every year. What else do you do every year on your motor that's just something that you replace whether it needs it or not?
It's pretty much just rebuilding the carbs and all the fuel lines. And then, I'll stick to regular maintenance that's recommended by the manufacturer. I look a lot at Chad at Miniplane has a lot of great resources about the top 80. And like I said earlier too, Hal Robinson at Southwest Airsports has some great reference material and maintenance schedules. And I follow that. I also change the plug every, 10 or so hours on those. And I change the redrive fluid every year as well.
Okay. I also change out the spark plug every 10 hours or so too. 'Cause there is such a cheap thing to change out, and it just makes all the difference in the world when it comes to, the overall performance of a motor, I believe personally. Anybody else in the panel, do you change anything else out every year that's not on a maintenance? Do you just change out? Like one of the things I also change out too are the carabiners.
Apparently, I change out at least one starter a year. JP's got me on that one though. That's not preventive; they're just going out. But I see what you mean. He was talking about his fuel lines or rebuilding the carburetor. I'm curious: do you run ethanol-free fuel or aviation fuel or just regular?
Ethanol free. It's kind of the joke with the group that I fly with, but I fly ethanol free. There's a GA airport close by that sells it.
Got you. Just
Yeah,
curious.
I think in two strokes, that's a pretty important thing to do is keep the ethanol free, especially because there are people that don't run the ethanol free. They just use regular pump gas that has the ethanol, and they're always having carburetor problems. And when you rebuild your carburetor, what does everything look like in there? Because you do run ethanol free, but you also fly a lot. What does your carburetor look like when you do your maintenance every year?
Usually it's pretty clean. Sometimes the screen will get a little gumped up, but I found that's been due to deterioration of the fuel lines or something getting in the fuel. It usually gums it up. But other than that, it's pretty clean. It's just, you can see that the membranes get a little worn out. But other than that, they're pretty clean.
Okay. What kind of oil do you use? I know that the Moster 185 and the Atom 80 and the Top 80, I believe they run different ratios of oil. What kind of oil do you use and what ratio do you use?
AMSOIL Sabre, 50-1.
Okay. Awesome.
And I've always used that.
And
I've heard
that seems to be good, right? The Sabre. Yeah, the Sabre seems to be the best, but is always the expensive.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Sabre. It seems to offer really good lubrication without the gunk issues that the Motul seems to leave. I've seen a lot of complaints about people running either one of the Motuls, and it has such a high flash rate that it just seems to clog up all the internals of the motor. And that seems to be what the Sabre works a little bit better at. You can tell even when you're mixing it that it's just thinner, and it mixes with the fuel a lot quicker than the Motul does. And I think that's the issue that people have with the Motul, even though that's what Vetter recommends is the Motul, but I think a lot of people have better luck with the Sabre.
Yeah, Sabre's a little bit more expensive, but I agree.
Is it really?
I agree. Yeah, Sabre seems to be more expensive than the Motul, and which is why I get the 710. It's the cheapest one out there, and it seems like it works fine. I don't have any problems with it. Has a little bit more residue, and it seems like the Sabre works a little bit better, I think. When I do my 100-hour maintenance, and I can tell the difference between the two oils. So I think that the Sabre is better, but it's a little bit cheaper, especially when you are doing lots of flights. I'm doing a 20 or 25-hour maintenance every 3 days or so. I'm putting on a lot of hours on my paramotor, so I go through a lot of oil, go through a lot of gas. We had a question in here. It's from Larry K. It says, why do you change out your carabiners every year? Must be using aluminum. Why not use stainless steel? There's nothing wrong with my carabiners when I change them out. It's just one of those things that, I can't tell if there's any stress fractures on them. So they're only $30 a pair, $40 a pair maybe. So it's not that expensive to change out. It's pretty much like the spark plugs. They're not that expensive to change out. Why not change them out and not have any worries? There's so many different worries that most people have when flying a paramotor. That's one thing I don't want to worry about. I've seen too many videos of those carabiners opening up, and then you're just free falling. It just scares the crap out of me, and it's so inexpensive. But that's the reason why I change them out. Cole, it seems like you've been flying a long time. How many states have you flown? And do you plan on going overseas?
Uh, I've only flown, I'm in Illinois. So I fly in Illinois and Michigan, and those are the only two states I've flown in right now.
Plan on flying overseas or any other interesting places?
No, I'd like to, there's so many places in the States to fly. I'd certainly like to fly down south and out in Arizona. You know, one of these days I'll make some trips, but you know, right now, just with family obligations, I've been pretty much flying in Illinois and Michigan.
With you flying for 9 years now, have you planned on or have you taught anybody or plans on teaching? Have you gone up the PPG 1, 2, 3 rank and maybe instructor? You got your tandem, or is that on the horizon, or you just want to go fly and have fun?
Yeah, I just want to go fly and have fun with my buddies. I fly with a good group. There's 4 or 5 of us that we fly together. And, you know, I just like doing that. We know each other's instincts. We know where each other is. You don't have to worry about their skills or getting you in trouble at an LZ and losing that spot. But it's just a good group.
That's awesome. Do you guys use radio or do you communicate when you're flying, when you're, you know, with your buddies?
No, we all do have communication. Sometimes we'll call each other in the air, but when we're pre-flighting, we'll usually say, you know, what's our plan today? And it, you know, it depends on the weather, depends on the wind direction. And we're lucky because where we're at, anything to the west of us is just wide open farms. So you can pretty much fly from here to California without hitting anything. It's just all open farmland. So just depending on the direction of the wind, we'll set where we want to fly and we'll just take off and enjoy it. And we usually fly for 90 minutes to, you know, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Do you do cross countries, like you take off, you go someplace, land, do something and come back? Or is it just go out for 90 minutes or 2 hours, just fly around and come back to the LZ?
Yeah, just mostly cross country. We don't land. We just get up there and fly. Fly until it gets dark, fly until sunset, or, you know, in the morning, we'll fly until it starts getting bumpy.
All right. So 2 more questions before I let everyone else ask questions. What is your most scariest flight, and what is the most beautiful, awesome flight you've ever had?
The scariest, we're again right outside of Chicago, so about 25 miles west of Chicago, a little southwest of Chicago. And during the summer, there's this phenomenon we call the lake dump. And what happens about an hour before sunset, there's cooling off Lake Michigan, and it will send this wave of cool air. And you can actually see it on super resolution radar. So we always have that radar app open when we're flying because you don't want to get hit with this. And unfortunately, we have a few times. And when it hits you, it will bounce you around really good. And it can be quite scary. It never had to land out, always have made it back to our LZs, but it's quite violent. And you can feel it. You can feel the temperature cool off, and then it just slams into you. And then
So
15 minutes after it hits, it's gone and it's smooth again.
That was actually a question by Larry K in the chat, wanted to know about lake dumps. I had no idea what it was. It sounds like to me you're explaining what I would call a gust front coming through.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's about an hour before sunset during the summers. That's what it is, because Lake Michigan is such a large body of water, and it's the coolest spot. And once the sun starts going down, just this cool gust front travels. It travels quite rapidly, and you can see the line on the radar coming at you. And like I said, it just hits you, and then, you know, 5-10 minutes later, it's smooth again.
That was another question Larry had about what apps you use. You mentioned you see it on the radar. What app are you using to see it? Like the Weather Channel app or My Radar? Or
It's called Radar Scope.
okay,
Oh, I use that too.
Yeah, it's a great app. And you can actually see it. It's a faint line and you can see it. So if you have that app, as you do, Sean, you can see it when a storm is approaching. Out ahead of the storm, you'll see a line of a gust front. And that's similar to what we experience with the cooling of the Lake Michigan.
That's pretty cool. But so you said that you haven't had any motor outs. You've always made it back to the LZ?
No, I've had quite a few motor outs, but
Oh,
just with getting hit with the gust fronts, I've never had to land out, but I've had quite a few motor outs. Things such as your spark plug coming undone, just mostly minor things like that. What else? Fuel line has come off before, but it's been pretty minor. But it's the old adage, and you do this with experience. But I was taught when I was learning, you always, and this is true in general aviation too, you always want to be looking for a spot to land out. So you need to be prepared because two-stroke can go out anytime you're flying. So luckily, I've never been hurt or crashed too bad, but I've always been able to land out. And I carry some parts with me, so some of the times I've been able to do field fixes and get right back up in the air. Other times I've had to call my buddies to come and fish me out of a cornfield or a soybean field.
Speaking of that, you have a video on there about a Saturday night crash where you were really low and coming fast and your engine went out. And I was wondering, how did that go down? Did you have any time to react when the motor went out?
I did. I had very little time. So I had enough time to evaluate the situation, see where I was going, prepare, my brakes and because it was downwind as well. So I was flying and the engine just started sputtering and I could not gain any altitude. So I knew I was going to land out and, it's right below there. It's that, so I just came in and pulled really hard on the brakes and luckily was able to land out okay. I was actually able to, I let the engine cool down a little bit. I looked over all my equipment, from the fuel lines, everything, and was able to start the engine up and take off again.
And did you land on your feet?
I did.
Oh, beautiful.
The GoPro that goes flying, I had it on my helmet, and once I landed, the GoPro went flying. I just have it Velcro to my helmet, so in case something happens, it's not hardwired to my head.
That's really smart. Anything that's on my helmet is definitely not permanently mounted because I don't want to, get a line wrapped around and get stuck in a weird position or something like that. Bill H in the chats has a question for the guest. How can we follow him on any social media? We do have his YouTube link in the show notes down below, but if you have any other social media, please let us know what you got.
Yeah, that's the only channel I have, Cole Flies PPG. I'm not very active on it, but I think I have about 20 videos on there.
And how many subscribers do you have right now?
It looks like 14, so.
14 subscribers. We have 23 viewers. If you could, I will post that link in the super chat, but it's also down in the show notes. If you could, hit that link, subscribe to his channel, and check out his videos. I don't think that we heard of your most awesome paramotor flight yet. What was your most awesome flight?
I would probably say flying on the beaches up in Michigan. I have family that has a place between Manistee and Ludington, and it's just a beautiful area. And I'll fly right off the beach, and morning at sunrise. It's just been phenomenal. So that by far would be my favorite flight or flights. There's no one up there. You have the beaches to yourself and just the views, especially with the sun coming up over the forest and you're out over the lake. It's just absolutely beautiful.
So I'm looking through your YouTube channel. It looks like it goes back 7 years to 2 weeks ago. So you got a good variety of videos on there, but not jam-packed like some people. When you make videos, are you making them just so you can look back and go, oh, that's what I did before? Are you trying to, put them up there for your friends and family only? Or what are your plans when you make videos?
Yeah, it's pretty much just to remember the flight and for friends and family. And, I don't videotape every time I fly or make videos to do that. I'm very safety conscious and I like to just get up and fly and I don't want to worry about documenting or videoing all my flights. And sometimes I think that can be a distraction, especially to newer pilots. And, there's so many things to think about up there, but so that's it. That's why there's only, I think, 20 videos up there. But sometimes I do go live when I'm flying. I'll just I use an app. I think it's, I don't even know what it's called. Go Live, I think it is. And I'll stream while I'm flying.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. All right. Anybody in the panel or anybody in the super chat have any other questions for Cole right now?
So I do. And since you're talking about cameras and GoPros and stuff, I mean, have you only used the GoPro cameras flying or have you experimented around with other ones? I mean, 9 years gives you a lot of experience, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm still using my same old GoPro Hero 5. And I do carry a little pocket Canon camera. So sometimes I'll take pictures of my buddies as they're flying by. But, these days, the camera on your iPhones are so good that, I'll just use that.
Yeah, the Hero 5s are awesome. I had 2 of them for like 4 years and then I upgraded to a 9 and I started having all kind of problems and losing videos. So enjoy those 5s. They're good.
Yeah, I'm one that if it's not broke, don't get rid of it. And sometimes I put it on my helmet, and other times I made a chase cam out of one of the pop bottles and about 10 meters of cord, and just put my GoPro out there, and it works fabulous. So it's taken a beating, and it just keeps on recording. So
That's that little square one that's about yay big, 1 inch by 1 inch squared.
it is.
Little session. Yeah, I use that for a chase cam also. I mean, it's so light, it's perfect for a chase cam. And that's the only one that you use? You put that on your helmet? And do you use a chest mount for your phone, since you said that phones do really good?
No, I actually, for my phone, I use a jogging strap, that people use for their phones on their arm. And I took the strap off it and I put that on my harness, on the leg harness. And I use a hot air app. It's a balloon app. It's called Hot Air. And it is my flight log, but it also has live flight tracking on it. So when I'm flying, I have that app open and it's telling me my altitude, my wind direction, my speed. So all the information I need to know. I can see the terrain. And it also is, like I said, it's my flight log. But if I wanted to take a picture, I just take my iPhone out of that and I'll just take a picture.
Is that so that's an iPhone app
probably-
called Hot Air?
Yeah, it's a balloon app, but it's great. I've been using it for years, and I've tried a lot of other PPG apps, and I always come back to this one. I like the flight tracking. I like the log. I like how you can download it using Google Earth, and keep track of all my flights.
And it's $4.99 in the store. It looks like. Okay. So I've never seen that before. I've never heard of it before until just now. So I'm really glad that you told me about it. I'll have to check it out. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and just check it out right now. I'll go ahead and get it. Look at me. Cheese, it's me. All right. So I'll go ahead and download it and check it out. It seems like it's always good to find something different. I use that PPG PS and the Fly Sky High or High Fly Sky Fly
Yeah,
High.
I've tried those too, but just keep coming back to Hot Air.
Interesting.
You
Alright.
said that you use a live app where you go live and sometimes for your friends and family, or is that where
Yes, it's called Live 4.
live for? And are you able to talk to them? Or are they able to talk to you?
I don't talk on it. I think you can somehow, but I've never figured that out. But it goes right to Facebook, so you're on Facebook Live, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so yep, there you go. That's it.
I-4. And welcome to the show, Brooke, by the way. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Always good to have you.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here tonight.
Yeah, I like that app. So sometimes just for fun, I'll do that. And I'm sure all my friends that aren't PPG friendly don't like it, but it's nice.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Awesome. Any other questions for Cole? Any questions in the super chat that anybody's seen? Lots of talking in the super chat.
Yeah. I went back, I was looking over a little while ago. I think we covered most of the ones I've seen in the chat so far. But I had a question regarding to fly-ins. It doesn't sound like you've gone to too many of them. If you're flying 9 years only in 2 states, you haven't done a whole lot of traveling. I mean, I guess you don't have a pair camper or anything like that set up, do you?
Oh, well, I have a Jeep and a car carrier all set up for my Paramotor, but no, I've only been to a couple, and I probably should go to more, but I really like knowing who I'm flying with and just the safety factor, and you just don't know the other skill level of some of those pilots out there. And like I said, I live pretty close to a flight school, and we'll fly down there sometimes, and we'll just do a quick flyby because it's a lot of people up there flying, and you don't know where they're going to fly, what they're going to do, what maneuvers they're going to do. I just like to stay clear. I like to be safe and sound and know where I'm going, know who I'm flying with, knowing their tendencies. And yeah, I do miss the camaraderie. And I mean, there's so many great people in the sport. I think in the future, if I do go to some, it'll be more for the camaraderie of getting together and talking with your fellow pilots and sharing stories and learning and tips and that. But for the flying part, I'm always hesitant of knowing where I am and who I'm flying with.
Absolutely. Since you're into being really safe and you've been flying for 9 years, do you fly with the reserve? And if you do, what kind do you have?
No, I do not. Never flown with the reserve.
Okay. I'm sure there's people out there that are wondering, it's like, wow, you've been flying for 9 years and no reserve. You must be flying very, very super safe. So what kind of flying do you do? I assume no acro then, since you don't have a reserve.
I do not do acro. I certainly test the boundaries of my wings. I slalom, the treetops, and I'll fly, up to 3,000 feet or above. And but mostly I like low and slow, flying above the corn tops, flying above the trees, down the rivers and streams. But I certainly will test the boundaries of my wings. Like I said, I'm flying now a Mac Para Samurai 20, and the wing is very responsive, very fast. It carves incredibly. I like the 2D steering on it. So you can be safe and also fly pretty actively.
That's good. Looks like we've got a couple of questions in the chat from Mark Droids, and we got another one from Larry that was talking about flying during the winter. But it says, Cole, do you fly year round in the heat and the snow? Any special gear that you use? And Larry says, does Cole do much flying in the winter? If so, any tips or tricks, clothing, etc.?
So fly year round. In fact, the winter has some of the best air, and we have flown in the snow, below zero. I think the coldest we've ever flown was 20 below zero, but toasty warm. So what I wear is I wear Gerbing motorcycle clothes, battery powered heated clothing. So I have a jacket, a heated jacket that I wear. So I'll wear base thermal underwear, and then my heated jacket. And then I have a flight suit that I put over that. And I wear heated gloves. I have Gerbing heated gloves as well. And I've really never been that cold. In fact, most of the time I'm toasty warm. Even like I said, down down to -20.
Wow, that's pretty cold. Jim is from Canada. I don't think he's flown anything like 20 below zero yet. Have you, Jim?
20 below zero. Celsius, I've been pretty close, but that's only 3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, the majority of our flights in the winter, they're around 30 degrees, above or below. So it's not too bad. And like you said, the winter has some of the best air to fly in. It's very buoyant and fun, and just a whole different experience.
Yeah,
I'd like to add here that
new lows.
What was that, Jim?
I said I'm looking forward to new lows this winter.
Fly high and new lows. I like that.
So I have to say, I think Cole is the primary example of what I was taught in school, that this sport can be as safe as you make it. And it sounds like he only flies with people he knows in good weather conditions. Been doing it a long time, hasn't had anything too bad to report, it doesn't sound like. I get it, the safety part, not going to a lot of fly-ins. In school, they taught us, go to a fly-in, but leave your gear behind, have fun, and watch them. And now, in the last couple of years, I've been to probably 4 a year. And there's carnage at every one of them. And, so I get it. So I just say to you, cheers, sir. And, good job being safe, because that's kind of where I want to be. And now I find myself doing more wing overs and going to fly-ins and fly in and having to abort 3 or 4 landings to land because there's too many people around. And I feel like I need to be a little safer myself. So,
yeah, I think with time in this sport, you find out your limits, and I've certainly pushed mine to the edge, and it always comes back to me. I have a family, I have kids, and I don't want anything to happen to myself and happen where I'm not going to be able to be around them. So I certainly push my limits, but I've certainly throttled back through through the ages. When I first started, I was doing all the foot drags and all that kind of stuff. But now I've throttled back a little bit on that, and I'll carve up that wing. And I've flown in all types of conditions. Like I said, I've hit the snow. I've been caught in rain. I've been caught in storms. I think I've experienced every type of weather phenomenal flying. Flown above the clouds and gotten fogged in, and had those scary landings where you're trying to break free of the clouds just to make sure you find ground and you don't hit anything on the way down. So I've experienced it all, and you file a lot of that away in memory banks, and you learn from it, and you learn what not to do again, and what you like and what you can learn from.
Well, Mark, Shaw, he says Mark D. What, if any, other flying machines has Cole flown? Did you start out on PPG or fly something prior to that? And in addition to that, I was curious if you've ever tried.
I used to fly hang gliding trikes prior to getting into PPG, and I really enjoyed those. But the thing about those is a number of things. You either have to have a hangar to put them in, or if you're going to be mobile with them, you need a trailer, and folding up that hang gliding wing, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes. And plus the cost, back when I started flying, they're about 25 grand, and they've only skyrocketed since then. So this is the most unique way of flight that I've found. I've flown, I don't have my private pilot's license, but I've flown many planes with, 150s, 172s and that. But this is by far the coolest flight that I've ever done.
Art Graves in the chat said, any advice for taking off on zero wind?
Yeah, it all depends, of course. In the mornings, I have a big 40 by 20 tarp that I'd lay out and put my wing on it so it doesn't get wet. Any moisture on your wing, especially with zero wind takeoff, is going to hamper that. Always know the direction of the wind, even though there's zero wind. I always put my wing in neutral, and I'll do a power forward. I'll just rev that engine up, get that motor going, run hard, pull on those A's and give it gas. And that's how I've mastered them. But it's living and learning and trying every technique. And then again, with every wing, it's different too. You have to know the capabilities of those wings and where to set those settings. And on all the wings that I've had, and I've only had 4, but each wing, it's different where I want to set those trimmers to a zero wind takeoff.
And you said you set your trims at what?
Usually at neutral in zero winds.
Do you ever pull the trims all the way in for zero wind?
I do. Like I said, it all depends on the wing.
Okay.
So every wing has a little different tendencies on it. But absolutely, on the Eden 5, I always pull them all the way in. On my Colorado and the Samurai, I leave them neutral and I do a power forward. And it seems to come up pretty easily in even zero winds.
Now you do a power forward, and what kind of motor and frame do you have?
I fly a top 80 with a Kang Gook Viking frame.
And the frame doesn't warp when you do a power forward?
No.
That's awesome. I've heard some horror stories about power forwarding on some of the frames where they flex a little bit and they hit the prop. So I'm glad that doesn't happen to you on your particular frame.
Yeah, that's been important to me with all my choices of frames. In fact, when I had the old Sky Cruiser frame, I rebuilt the hoop a number of times, and I always put heavier duty spurs in there that hold the nut just for that fact. I've never been weight conscious with my frames. I've always thought of safety and flex and that too. It doesn't make that much difference when you're loaded up with fuel and clothing and your wing. What's 5 or 10 pounds? I'd much rather have safety involved with that. So the weight's never been a factor for me. It's more, I don't want my lines getting snagged or going into the prop. And, I don't want the frame the cage to warp when you're doing a power forward.
Okay, I don't know about that frame, but Bill H says it's a strong frame, and Sean Nasker says it's the same frame that he flies. So you're
Which one,
able
the Viking, the Kankook Viking?
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I buy too.
so you said that you can put more spars in there to make it sturdier?
No, on my old Sky Cruiser frame, I put sturdier, spurs in there.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
rebuilt it. I had that frame for 8 years, or so. It had a number of crashes, so I rebuilt it quite a few times. So I kind of learned how to, or bent the hoop quite a few times. So I learned how to rebuild it and make it sturdier.
Cole, would you be able to explain how you do your power forwards, like the steps and technique to doing that?
Sure. You're laying out your wing. I always get the leading edge fluffed up, so they're facing into the zero wind, but facing into the direction of the wind. And then I set my trimmers to, depending again on the wing, to neutral or a little end. And then I hold my arms out, not down, but straight out. And I'll rev the engine up to full power. I'll get the wind moving while I'm bent over about 45 degrees. And then I let off and I run leaning forward for that initial surge to get that wing going up, and then I gun it again. So once that wing's at about 80 degrees up, I'm at full power again. And then I'm just running, then I stand upright. So that initial surge, I'm bent over about 45 degrees as I surge and pull that wing up, and then I straighten up while I give it full power.
Okay, so you're not full power while the lines are pressed up against the hoop.
I'm full power, then I let off for a second as I surge the wing forward, and then I'm right on it. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not full power the entire time, Sean.
Okay, so that's the reason why your hoop doesn't flex into your prop. That's awesome. That's a great way of doing it. I think somebody asked if you did trike or tried trike, and I don't remember what you said.
No. My only experience was with the trike, of course, was when I was flying the hang gliding trikes, but not in PPG.
Okay, so you did fly
It's
the.
always been foot launched.
Okay, so you did do the flying, the hang gliding trike, and how'd you like that?
Oh, I liked it. You have a Rotex, 503 on the back of that. It's fast, and it's a lawn dart. Yeah, it's very maneuverable, but there's just nothing like PPG. Like I said, the versatility of flying power paragliding just outweighs that. But I did enjoy it. It's fast, it's fun.
How does the flying compare, like in unstable air, between a glider and a paramotor or a paraglider?
I didn't fly in any hazardous or changing weather conditions when I was flying the hang gliding trike. I didn't fly it for very long, and it was always, perfect conditions. So I really don't have that experience to compare them. But
Hey,
I've certainly experienced it with PPG.
a shout out to DP in the chat. He gave $10, and JP wants to take a screenshot. You ready for that?
Oh, yes. Let me change this real quick to the gallery mode. Ready when you are, buddy.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
I didn't hear.
All right.
I didn't hear the stutter sound.
I
It's
didn't
in my
either.
ears.
I hope he really did it. So that's good. If you send it to the chat, I'll make it our official thumbnail.
Right. Love it. Thank you, JP.
Thank you for reminding me, Linda.
That's what PRs are for, right?
Yeah, that's what
John?
I knew there was a reason we kept you around. Not just the pretty face,
Absolutely. I know it's 8:00, and I know that some people need to go because we already been talking for an hour. Cole, how long can you chat with us? Did you want to chat a little bit more, or are you
Sure.
ready
Sure,
to
I'm
head
good.
on out?
No, I'm good.
All right. Who needs to head on out? Hey, I got a bail.
I'm good for a little while,
You
man.
good for a little while? How about you, JP?
Yeah, I gotta hit the head on out. I'm gonna send this message to you guys and then hit it. Always a pleasure. Excellent show. Look forward to it every week. Cole, thanks so much for joining us, man. It's been an honor. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, JP.
Thank you, JP. We appreciate you, buddy.
No problem,
Hey,
guys.
JP.
Take her easy.
Nice meeting you, Cole.
Yep. Take care.
Appreciate it.
All right. So we lost JP, but the rest of us are still here. Good to go. And Cole, you said you can chat with us for another 30 minutes or so?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, good deal.
We lost Will too.
Oh,
There's one more question in the chat I saw. Benjamin wants to know: do you ever wear fluorescent or loud outdoor clothing for maximum contrast if you're grounded?
No, but I'm very visible. I have LED lights all over my rig. So I currently have the PPG lights, I think they're called, all around my hoop with, I think there's like 200 different patterns on them. So I'm always very visible. And same with my buddies. We always have lots of strobes on our gear.
Yeah, strobe. What kind of strobe do you use?
Like I said, I think they're called the current one. I think it's PPG lights.
Like the 3 lights that PPG Smoke has? Or is it just a single one that goes on your
No,
helmet?
I think that's where I bought them from. I think that's the name of it's a whole controller. And then it has the LED lights that go all the way around my hoop, front and back.
Okay.
Yeah. And
awesome.
The big halo lights.
Yeah, the controller has, like I said, I think like 200 different patterns on it.
Okay,
So
I
it's
see.
highly visible.
So it's
But
all rolled up
think
into
I
one.
think where I got them, I think the website was PPG lights.
Yeah, he doesn't make them anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to order some myself. Somebody told me that he may have been sick or ill for a while, but they're great lights, but unfortunately his version 1 and 2 are no longer available.
Yeah, I got the version 2, I believe. And yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I kind of made my own. I just had LED light strips all over the back of my cage on the and I put a strobe on there. So I've always had a lot of lights on my rig. I like to be seen. So we're outside of Chicago, like I said, we're about 25 miles southwest, west, southwest. So there's a very congested airspace. You have Midway Airport, you have O'Hare, and then you have some pretty busy executive airports right around us. You have Aurora, and then you have Lewis, and there's quite a bit of executive jet traffic out of there. And then real close, there's a couple other smaller airports, Clow Airport and Bolingbrook. So there's a lot of air traffic. So we like to be seen and like to know where other airplanes are. There's a few helicopters around our area, and plus you always have the crop dusters during planting season. So we like to limit our altitude because we know where the traffic is up high, and we also use a number of apps to track those planes too. So there's another one, flight radar. So anyone that's pinging, you can see their aircraft. So we like to be visible. So we can be seen.
Have you ever had any close calls with any other aircraft?
We have
Military aircraft?
not military, helicopter, and just some small, like GA aircraft, fairly close. I always like, you see someone coming, I always like to show them wing. I'll bank to make myself as visible as possible so they can see as much of my wing as possible and get out of their way. But usually, they're above 2,000 feet. But every now and then you'll get someone that's playing dangerously and too close.
Yeah, they're trying to get close to you to get a good view of you, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and there's a couple acro guys, that in their pits, biplanes out there doing their little acrobatics. We know where they are. We stay away from them. But there's a lot of air traffic around.
Do you use any type of airband radio to hear traffic?
No. Usually I listen to music when I fly. So I have my Sena headset, Bluetooth in my headset. So I'm listening to music, but we know the direction of all the airports and usually the flight pattern. So you just always have to have your head on a swivel all the time. We talked earlier about knowing where your buddies are and their tendencies and their habits when they're flying. But we're always keeping our head on a swivel looking for any aviation.
Absolutely. Definitely have to do that. And you've been flying with music in your ear. Do you have any problems as far as does that distract you at all, or is that just relaxing, or how does that work for you?
Very relaxing. In fact, I can't think of a flight that I haven't been listening to music since I started. So it's just, it's just soothing. I mean, what other sport can you be up there sitting in a lawn chair, taking in Mother Nature and jamming to your playlist? So I have a lot of different flying songs on my playlist.
Yeah, well, I got to ask, man, because I know some people, all they listen to is like Beethoven or something like that when they're flying, man. Do you have a favorite type of music you listen to while you're flying, or?
It's all over. It's from Frank Sinatra to Genesis to, Ollie Hatchet. It's everything. It's all of it. Pink Floyd, and yeah.
Brooke jamming in the background. That's all he listens to. When we started flying together with Brooke, I was like, man, why don't y'all have radios? I don't want to listen to y'all talk. I want to listen to my music while I'm flying. So I get it.
Yeah.
It changes things when you start listening to the music. I fly a little different when a good song comes on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? It's about 10 after 8. So how about I put the meeting ID and passcode into the super chat? If you guys want to join us and just chat with Cole and ask questions, you're more than welcome to. Please do that. I got the waiting room on, so you'll have to wait until I see you and recognize you, and I'll let you in. So come on and hang out with us for a little bit. Any other questions for Cole from the panel?
Yeah, I never got to ask. Obviously, you get to fly a ton. I'm assuming you have somewhere really close to home that you fly, if not out of your own yard.
I'm very fortunate. In fact, one of the reasons why I moved into the neighborhood we moved into is there's a huge park at the end of my street. So it's literally at the end of my street. So I fly out of there. But what we do is we rotate our LZs. So we're real fortunate. There's sod farms that we have permission to fly out of. There's a polo field that we have permission to fly out of. And they're all within 5 minutes of my house. But what we do is we rotate them. Landing zones, launching areas are very sacred. And, once you get permission, you don't want to lose it. And we don't want to make anyone angry or, get too sick of us. So yeah, we rotate them as often as possible and make friends the best we can. We've become friends with the local police and fire. But as long as you don't make anyone mad, we can keep them.
Yeah,
We have lost one site. Somebody that was flying with us was being an idiot and flew over while some kids were practicing football, and the parents didn't like that, and we got kicked out of there. But it's just using your heads. You don't want to make anyone mad. You don't want to fly over people. You don't want to fly if someone's practicing anywhere. I don't like to be seen. I don't want people to know where we're taking off and landing, and we keep those as quiet and sacred as we can.
So this neighborhood, this park at the end of the neighborhood, do you share that LZ with a famous guy named Jeff Gowen?
No.
I know you said
Jeff was a few miles north of me, and he had another field right by his house. He used to fly out of a church up there that had just a wide open field, and it was nice. But I have the same thing right at the end of my street. Jeff did used to fly over it years ago when he lived up here. He's down in Florida now, but he did fly the same areas that we fly.
That's pretty cool that you got to meet those guys, early on and learn with them and fly with them. I think the more people you get to fly with, the better a pilot you're going to be in the end. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you never stop learning, and every time you fly, you learn something new, and every time you fly with someone different, you learn something new. And I've been fortunate enough to fly with Jeff on a few occasions, and in fact, a few years ago, there's a whole group of us. Jeff was in town. Jeff and Tim were in town, and a whole group of us got together at another polo field. And at the end of the flight, we're sitting down to take a picture, and I think there was close to 10 of us. And Jeff looked down and he goes, we're all flying top 80s. Everyone had a top 80, and what were the odds of that? But it was kind of a coincidence, but it was kind of cool.
So the only beaches you've flown are the Great Lakes. You've never flown an ocean beach, I guess?
No, I'd love to, but no, just Lake Michigan.
So, it's a big lake. I would assume they probably have pretty similar laminar winds when it's onshore, or am I totally wrong?
Yeah, yeah. So, that's another good topic. And yeah, whenever you're flying near water, you definitely need onshore winds. You don't want to be sucked out there over the water. So I also fly with power floats because I do like to fly over water. There's some rivers and streams where we fly, and I'll fly low. I'll fly under some bridges and that, but I always have power floats or flotation on. And the same thing when I'm flying over by Lake Michigan is, I always have altitude when I'm out further out on the lake. So if I have a power outage in that onshore wind, I have enough time to get back and land on the beach. But yeah, I would never fly with an offshore breeze or winds.
Yeah. So yeah, flying out over water is something I'm not a fan of either. Even with floats, I don't know. I don't think I'd fly over water even with floats. It just sounds so scary to me. Like the risk versus benefits, just flying out, over heavy water.
I got a fear of drowning, but I also have a fear of being eaten by sharks because I've caught 6-foot bull sharks in 3 foot of water. But at least in the Great Lake, you take away one of those fears. There's no sharks, right?
Right,
Right.
exactly.
No
And
sharks and
if you got a
fresh
boat
water.
out there too, and you have a reserve, I guess it wouldn't be that bad.
Probably some aliens out there.
Muskie.
But yeah, I'm never too far offshore. And like I said, when I am, I'm pretty high up. But the fun of flying, especially where I fly on Lake Michigan up near Manistee and Ludington, they're pretty secluded beaches. There's not a lot of people out there. And the fun is just flying low, right over the beach, right where the water's lapping against the beach. It's just phenomenal.
Absolutely. That's something I'd like to do eventually also is go out there and fly on the beach. I still haven't done that. Had a couple opportunities to when I was over in Florida, but the weather was not good. So, it's pretty sad when you have your paramotor, your wing, and you're ready to do something, but the wind says, nope, you're not going to do it today.
You almost made it to Kitty Hawk with us after Moonshiners.
I really wish I would have been able to do that.
That's the only time I've flown a beach. One time is Kitty Hawk. So that's pretty special.
That's pretty awesome. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. You should do it. You should do it.
Yeah,
It's
that's a bucket list.
bucket list item. Absolutely. They got a little strip there, first flight field, literally like right beside the monument. And it's only open from 9 to 5. So before those hours or after those hours, there's nobody out there. So you can fly right over it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, one of these days I will do that. Well, next year I think I'll be able to do more things. This year has been kind of tight and stuff, with everything that's been going on. It was hard to get away and go do stuff. So hopefully everything's going to settle down a little bit this next year and be able to go to more fly-ins, more places. And Cole, you said that you might go to some fly-ins this next year coming up, you think? Or no?
Well, I every year I look at the calendar and I circle a couple, but something always seems to get in the way. Kids, families, events, something.
Right.
But certainly not opposed to them, and we all. I'm like I said, I always circle them on the calendar.
Yeah.
And same with my buddies. Each year we think about spots we want to go fly, and we have a couple of them, and it's always weather related. Things come up, but we check them off slowly.
Brian, were you going to say
Well,
something, buddy?
Yeah, I was. I got sidetracked by Nick's comment. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to go check out Nick's comment now. What do you say?
Something about flying Franktown, Virginia. I was talking about flying over there at
Okay.
Kitty Hawk. So Oh, I know I was going to ask. I know you're a family man, so your kids have been seeing you do this for 9 years now. Have any of them expressed any interest in getting into the sport?
No, my wife's scared of heights, and no, they haven't. They like coming and watching me fly, but no interest in actually doing it.
Mm. I've noticed that there are a lot of people that always say that looks like a very scary thing to do. Flying a paramotor seems to be like an extreme sport to a lot of people out there. And to me, this is like the least extreme sport. I think it's like this is extreme as golf is.
Well, it depends on who you see fly. You know, the first person. The first person I saw fly was when I walked out the back door at Aviator, and I looked up at 3,000 feet. Kyle Mooney's doing the infinite tumble, and then Mike Brown, the instructors, he looked at me and he saw my jaw drop looking at him. I'm like, that's day 3, no problem, man.
Well, I guess it's like, there's cars and there's motorcycles, and we've driven cars. Some of us has driven motorcycles, but there are people that are doing, wheelies down the interstate at 120 miles an hour. And there's people that drive race cars and do, really crazy stuff with cars. So, but all in all, if it's just let's take off, let's get up to altitude, let's look at some really cool things, let's go over here and land and check this out, then take off and, make it more like a plane type of thing where you're just going places and checking things out. It's not that dangerous. Just like Cole said, he hasn't, he doesn't use a reserve. But if you're going to do something like, infinite tumbles, or if you're going to be doing some heavy acro, yeah, you'd probably need a reserve and you need to up your skill level too. But how many people are actually going to go up there and do some infinite tumbles? Brian, are you going to do that anytime soon? Me either.
No, I'm not. But I'm getting pretty close to getting the barrel roll all the way around. So
Really? You're going that far? Awesome. Pirate is too, huh?
yeah, I definitely got a little bit of an adrenaline junkie in me on the flying part. I mean, Flight 63, kicked the hay bale, went to SIV, took a dump into the water. I'm starting to build up some experiences and that kind of thing. So, but the more I get into it, the more I just love it, the sport.
Cole, are you planning on doing any SIV courses or any maneuvers courses?
I've thought about it, but I haven't. I just haven't.
You're just a go out and explore from an altitude type of guy and foot dragging or just hanging over the treetops type of guy, huh?
Yeah, like I said, I've pushed the envelope and tested the limitations of all my wings, and I find what I like to do, what I don't like to do, and
right.
Again, it all comes back to I love my life and my family, and I don't want to lose that, and so it's a balance. I'm a pretty crazy guy. I was a gymnast all through high school and college, and pretty fearless. I'm the guy that would do handstands on a mountaintop, or I have a picture of me doing a handstand on top of the oldest suspension bridge in Iowa. So I'm certainly fearless, but I also know my limitations.
Awesome.
So have you done base jumping or skydiving?
No. And I have buddies that always want to go skydiving. I'm like, what's the point of that? What do you're down in 60 seconds or something? Maybe 2 minutes. We fly for 2 hours. I go up and down. If I want to
explore.
Yeah, if I want to, experience that, I'll just go up a couple thousand feet and turn off my motor.
Yeah, turn off your motor, do big ears. I mean, that's dropping like a parachutist.
Yeah. I love going up. I love going up a couple thousand feet and shutting off the engine and just spiraling down and land. I do that all the time, but there's nothing like getting up and flying for 90 minutes and 2 hours.
Exactly.
seeing the deer, the eagles, the foxes, the coyotes.
Any bear?
I've not seen a bear.
How about a skunk?
Uh,
I'm only saying that because I was flying low, I was foot dragging, the skunk went, oh, bloop, and lifted his tail
Rhea?
up at me. So I actually saw a skunk as I was foot dragging.
Yeah, lots of coyotes and deer, eagles and hawks, but lots of geese. No bear. Saw an albino fox once. That was pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool. I just saw a picture online. Somebody took a picture of an albino deer around here.
I saw that.
It is cool the wildlife you can spot from a paramotor, for sure.
Yeah.
You just got to look out for the hunters that are there at the same time. Right now it's hunting season in Alabama. And I'm like, man,
That's
I'm
right.
not buzzing too low.
That's another thing you got to respect too. I'm a hunter too, and there's lots of hunters out in these fields now that the fields are plowed and it's hunting season. So, we know where they're at, and we want to stay clear of them too.
And you're in Michigan, is that right?
Illinois,
So
Illinois.
okay. I know in Michigan they only got like a 2-week long deer hunting season, and it's a crazy frenzy. So, Alabama's
everybody takes vacation during
Yep.
that time in Michigan.
DP's in the house. What's up, DP?
welcome here,
How you
brother.
doing, buddy?
Good to see you. If you guys
Nice
didn't
to
know,
see you.
DP is a foot launcher, and he only has one foot.
A literal foot launcher.
Yes, a foot launcher. So he's pretty awesome in my book. Good to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
So what's that, Brian?
I was going to say DP's the man.
The man.
He
No,
is.
you're the man.
DP man.
Well, Tom got back on the show here, DP. Jeez,
Thank you. Yes, it is.
we missed you. Seriously.
Thank you. I missed y'all a lot.
Yeah.
Had some issues.
We missed
and, I
Brooke
think
too.
we're
I'm
getting
glad Brooke's
things
feeling
straightened
better.
out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, which reminds me too. What was it? The 13th of December is our 100th episode. And
Yes.
anybody that's been a guest on the show is welcome to come on that show and hang out with us and just talk about paramotors.
It's awesome.
100.
Yeah.
Good for you, Sean.
Well, it's us. I mean, I couldn't do this by myself. Are you kidding? I would have stopped a long time ago. It's not fun just hanging out by myself, but this is like it's a family, it's a get together. And
Right.
Cole, you're more than welcome to join us anytime on our guest chat every Monday night. If you want to just jump on and be part of the panel, that's how we get our panel.
Outstanding.
It's just people that's been on the show before, and it's always good to see people and tell your story about your coolest, latest XC or paramotor flight or being sprayed by a skunk as your foot dragging. We just want to hear it,
That's it.
I think I was episode 29. He still hadn't got rid of me, so no telling how long we'll see you around.
Thank God.
Yeah.
God.
Well, when we started the show, we were talking about when I started, there was hardly any trainers out there, and it was in its infancy. And boy, it's amazing how fast and how wide it's grown.
So
Crazy.
since 2012, when you first started, even though you said that you were into it back in the 1900s of some sort, right?
1993, yeah. That's when I
19
first saw that DK Whisperer out of Japan.
Yeah, that's 2 years before the internet really blossomed in 1995. When you had your little disc from AOL, everybody got
Yes.
because they got the new multimedia PCs back then, and you actually could go online with AOL.
That's right.
First GUI interface with Windows 95. Yep, I remember that.
You're showing your age, brother.
Man, this right here shows my age. My PPG grandpa shows my age. I was alive in the 60s.
96K, baby.
I talked to a lot of people about ultralights, experimental aircraft, and it seems like single person ultralights fixed wing, the kind of the golden era for them was around the 80s. Talking to a lot of people in the South, and you know, you still go to Central Florida, you still get a lot of it, a decent amount, but not as much in the rest of the country. Do you think we're in a golden era right now of paramotors? Do you think it's going to keep growing and blossoming, or you think we're peaking? I'm just curious.
Is that to Cole?
Yes, to Cole. So he's got the experience.
Boy, you know what worries me is so many people getting in it and getting too crazy, not respecting the laws or limitations and people's privacy. You know, not everyone likes people flying over their houses or near their houses or parks and beaches or whatever. So what scares me is the popularity of it. And like I said, people not respecting each other's privacy or rules of the road, so to speak. That's what worries me. I'd hate to get us regulated and have the FAA come
It's
down.
common.
Yeah,
I think it's
it's, you know,
coming.
it's just such a shame because there's nothing like, you know, getting in your car, driving a few minutes and pulling out to a park or something and getting airborne and just, you know, and enjoying the freedom that the sport gives us. And
I don't think it's going to be
you know,
too
it
regulated.
just, it just worries me that there's too many hot dogs out there now.
I don't think it's going to be too regular. I think that what will happen though is that we're going to have the what is that, the ASB in and out, because drones are flying at 400 feet and, you know, a lot of things are going automated. I think that we're going to have some sort of something on our paramotors and anything that flies to make sure that, you know, drones don't run into us. So, you know, I hope that, you know, people are following the rules and regulations, but it seems like with all the automated drones that are going to be going out, it's very possible that we're going to have some sort of, well, it's ASDB, right? Am I saying that right? Am I saying that acronym right? ASDB?
ADSBS.
Yeah. So I think we're going to have that. That's what all GA had to have at the beginning of, was it this year or last year?
They don't have to have it. It's only commercial flights and people carrying passengers, I believe. Because at the airport I operate at, barely anybody has it at all.
Okay, so just single passenger don't need it, but if you are commercial or you're flying through an airspace that requires it.
I don't think there's any airspace requirements. I've been recently looking into the rules because I was trying to figure out if we could even put it on our equipment. The recent ruling from what I understand, it's only certain commercial aircraft. It must be permanently installed, and they are not allowed to have it be able to be taken out and put anywhere else. But if you're not commercial, my understanding is the lack of regulation does allow us to put it in and use it. But I fly at a lot of airports, and I see helicopters will turn it off mid-flight. So I don't know what the real blanket rule is, other than commercial aircraft that are registered commercial have to have it.
I thought that GA is supposed to have it. Like if you have your pilot's license, your general aviation aircraft, even Cessnas and everything has to have it.
Well,
now.
you've got to think there's lots of aircraft out there that don't even have electronics. Like there's Cubs up there that don't have any electronics on them. So again, the airport that I have my hangar, I'd say out of the 20 planes there, maybe 2 of them have it.
Yeah, I remember looking into it, and I know that a lot of the planes are supposed to have it, and it was a requirement. And I believe also too, like I said, with all the drones that are going automated, you know, like Amazon stuff like that, I wonder how long it would take before even, you know, FAR 103 ultralights are going to have something that, you know, broadcasts and shows their location just so drones don't run into us. That sounds like the next step that's going to happen. who knows? I mean, it might be another 10 or 20 years. I mean, how many drones do you actually see that say Amazon on it and drop you a package? No, I haven't seen that.
I think the general consensus most people agree is that at some point in the future, we're probably going to face increased regulation. Hopefully it won't be too bad. I've talked to different people that had a different opinion on it, that they think that we should be regulated. It was kind of a minority, I would say, that had that opinion. But, there's reasons that they said that, so that we could, fly at night, fly over people in congested areas and stuff like that. Because, if you're regulated, you can do that kind of thing. That's general aviation at certain altitudes anyway. So there's different perspectives on it. But I feel like if we keep flying over people's houses and we're not flying directly over them and everybody's videoing, some people like to see us 1 or 2 times, but after that, it kind of gets annoying to a lot of people, I think, if you just keep buzzing over and over.
Yeah, move along.
Yeah, I don't think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think the FAA wants anything to do with us, but you're right, Brian. It's just going to take, some incident, some catastrophe or some incident that's going to bring the pressure down on us. And hopefully that won't be for a long time.
Yeah, and it seems like what the first thing that would probably happen is that you would have to have like, a rating, a certain rating. You'd have to get your PPG 1 and 2, and then you'd be issued something saying that you have that so you can fly. So it'd kind of be like a driver's license, really easy to get, kind of like a moped type of thing where, you can drive a moped, but you don't need a license or registration or anything. I think that the only thing that we would be required to in the future is to have something that says we are a PPG 1 or 2, and we have a certificate from, the USPPA. I don't think that's going to get something like you have to get it from, I don't know. I mean, I hope that we don't, but it seems like we'd have to probably hold a license that would be extremely easy to get at first. Like
Rolling us into light sport aircraft or something. But boy, yeah, I hope not for a long time.
Yeah.
But what scares me are the drones. There's some guys that fly those little race drones at one of our LZs from time to time, and they're very respected by us when we're taking off. But they still scare me. You get one of those things tangled in your lines, and ooh, be awful.
Yeah, I've been really in my area. What I do is I put my phone number out there that I fly paramotors here locally, and I put my phone number out there all in all different places, all on Facebook groups and different places, different apps from around here, so everybody knows that I fly. And I've actually had somebody call me or text me and said, "Hey, I fly drones, and I see that you're up in the air right now. Can I video you?" So that's pretty nice to have, that people actually get in touch with you and ask these questions, or ask, can I come out to your LZ and video you? Can I follow you with the drone? So I've met a lot of people that way, which is really nice.
Wow, that's so great.
Speaking towards regulation and whatnot, just a shout out to tomorrow night's show, the Tuesday night hangout with Shane, Eric, and other guys, Mark, Will. They're actually going to have Noah Rasheda on, the new US PPG or president.
Wow.
He's going to be the guest, and we're going to interview him. So I'm sure we're going to talk about increased regulation and those kind of things. So y'all be sure to tune in tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that too. I saw that he posted that. You can find that. You can go over to ppglear.com, LEAR, and that will forward to Eric's YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. So when he does have his podcast that goes out every Tuesday night, you'll be notified, and check that out. Tomorrow's going to be a really good one.
Yep, definitely looking forward to that.
Mad Sloper says they are requiring FPV drones to have tracker starting in 2023. And I think I saw something that the FAA is requiring RC pilots and drones to take safety trust tests. So maybe in the future we'll have something like we'll have to have something from a school saying that we did go to their safety class. So I don't think that, I mean, I think that our FAR 103, as long as you follow those rules and regulations, I think that we're going to be okay. Just because a lot of things are going electronic, I think that we're going to have to probably have something that, you know, broadcasts that we are an ultralight for all the people that, and drones and things like that, so they don't run into us. But as far as regulations, I sure hope that I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, we're already regulated under FAR 103. I think that's the most they want to do. And it's also written. What's that?
It looks like Brooke just posted a link to the FAA.gov website in the chat.
What is that about?
So that link is for it says that's the ADS-B requirements for A, B, and C airspace. However, I've seen this argued nonstop on some paramotor sites where other guys were able to take other sightings from the FAA and bring it in and show that that was just for commercial aircraft. So I'm personally confused on it. I'd like to figure out a little bit more, but if you read the post the way I just put it from the FAA, it says anybody in ABC airspace must have it. So there's that.
A, B, and C is really high up there though, right? I mean, that's the highest ones. You got G on the ground and then E above that.
Well, it does say class A, B, C, and E.
And E.
And E. So, I mean, we fly in E also. That's what right above G. So,
Sure.
You know, once you pass 1,200 feet, you're in E airspace. However, because we are under FAR 103 and we are not under the general aircraft or GA, we don't have to have it at this time. But I believe GA is supposed to have it if you're flying through any class of airspace. But like I said, I think that we're going to have to be eventually, just because of all the things that are out there, something that like a ADS-B out system that's really inexpensive that we can just, you know, like radio, you know, there shouldn't be any reason why you can have an airband radio that broadcasts, you know, ADS-B eventually, or something that you can put on a little transponder that's, that drones use. I mean, shoot, the drones from DJI have ADS-B in, but they don't have out.
So I've flown with a portable ADS-B receiver that will blink to let me know when it's actually working. And I've found half the time below 500 feet, it doesn't even work. So I don't know what technology is the best, but it's still somewhat in its infancy, it seems like.
Yeah. So so this is 2021, November 29th. And my predictions are within 10 years, probably 5 years from now, everybody under FAR 103, all ultralights, are going to have an ADS-B out, which means that it broadcasts where you are, and an ADS-B in or receiver, just with your equipment, will be able to show you where the broadcasts are from other aircraft. So if you're flying, you got a cell phone with a dongle, and you have your ADS-B in, it will actually show you the planes or whatever's flying around you, what their tail number is. See, we don't have a tail number, and ADS-B right now just is for tail numbers. And since we don't have a tail number, we can actually use an ADS-B in and actually see where all the tail numbers are. But unless you have a transponder or one that actually broadcasts, which are expensive right now, they're like $2,000 for a portable one, and that's too high for me. I mean, that's a good used wing.
In 5 or 10 years, if there's a need for it, they'll figure out how to use our cell phones by then. You know, there'll be an app on your phone that you use or something every time you fly.
Yeah.
You know, where there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure it out. I think the main thing is, as Sean made in the chat, is, just follow the rules and keep your eyes open. The number one rule at Aviator was DBAD, and I think most of you know what that means. Flying a way that you're not going to get yourself or others in trouble. You don't fly right over people and do things that are going to make our sport look bad. A lot of people out there are going to break those rules, but if everybody did follow those rules, we would be a lot better off. That is for sure.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. Well, it's 8:45. I put the Zoom information in. No one jumped in besides DP. I guess we can say thank you to Cole, and for the next 15 minutes, just talk about paramotors or whatever we want to talk about as an after show, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Cole Parsons, you've been flying for 9 years, and we definitely appreciate you jumping on here and telling us, what was going on back in 2012 when we didn't even know about paramotors, and you were flying around. So that's pretty interesting. All your cool stuff that you've talked about, all the information that you gave us, a wealth of knowledge, and we definitely appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on our show.
Thank you, Cole. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
my
Cole.
pleasure. And it's a great podcast. I love watching and being a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Welcome back anytime.
Absolutely. Down below in the show notes or the description of the podcast has his YouTube link. So make sure you go there, click that, hit that bell notification. If it works right now, I think that the bell notification doesn't work. So
Get
I think
that
we're
fixed.
on that. Get that fixed. At least hit subscribe. Yes, DP.
I had one question. It may have been covered before I got online. The never quit on your wing there, Cole. What is that?
I think the prior organization that owned this was that organization Never Quit. So my friend that bought them, he bought two of these, and they both say Never Quit. So I think it's that Never Quit organization out of Texas. In fact, I know it is, that supported wounded warriors and that. So, it's
Cool.
kind of the same cause that our friend bought them for. I think you missed it earlier. We have an organization called We're Just Patriots, and our buddy, his brother was shot in the line of duty in Texas, and he's a paralyzed ex-policeman, and it was kind of in honor of him that we founded this organization and Fly the Eagles in honor of first responders and wounded warriors and that.
Very cool. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I just looked in here. Mad Sloper said the FAA trackers for drones are going to cost $30. I'm sure that ADSB in and out will probably be something that, like Brian said, just an app that you can get with a dongle or something like that in the future, or a little thing that you can get for like $100. I don't think it's going to be that expensive in the future. And whenever it comes available, I think that I want one just so I'm seen, electronically and visually. But anyways, yes, thank you very much, Cole. We appreciate you, buddy. We also have Brian Haybale Waller. If you don't know him, make sure you go to ppgbrian.com. We got Jim from Canada. He has the Maple Money up there. Make sure you go to carepp.com if you want to get some custom stickers or decals. I'm sorry, we call them decals, but they call them decals. And you want to see his shenanigans, go to careppg.com. If you want to be on the show, make sure you run over to see Linda Anderson over at ParamotorUSA.com. And we appreciate you so much. Also, ppgpirate.com. Brooke Sheffield's in the house, and we appreciate you, buddy, for being here. He also has his own flight school, and you can have a trike transition, so make sure you get up with him if you want to chat with him. We also got DP in the house, David Perry, and if you want to see his shenanigans, go over to ppgfootlaunch.com. Like I said before, you can find Cole Parsons' information in the show notes down below. My name is Sean Symons. You can find me at ppggrandpa.com or I Fly Paramotors. You can find us anywhere out there on any of your favorite podcasting apps, including Amazon, Amazon Prime, even Amazon Music. It's insane. Look for us on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app. Just search for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. Find us every Monday night at ClearPropTV.com. We love you all. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you tomorrow at ppglear, Lear.com. And then on Wednesday at ParamotorGirl.com. Did I say that good? Was that good? Was that like a radio DJ voice and stuff? Was that awesome or what?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Sound totally rehearsed.
I
Sound
tried
perfect.
my best. I mean, after 2 years of doing this, I better have that under control.
Don't
Nailed
forget Thursday night, paraglidingtalk.com with my son, Robert Michael.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I'm supposed to ask you now. And those are the thing that we always do. And then on Thursday night, something else goes on.
Oh, man, I just got super excited and I just had to jump in there and say it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Thursday night, something else goes on. What is that? Yeah,
Paraglidingtalk.com.
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
We also forgot to give
That was a good one.
Brooks' contact information. I think is ppgpirate.com.
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah.
We sure did.
Okay. well,
Smokeitup.com.
Yeah. Try to hook you up. All right. Any words of wisdom or last thoughts before we go off the air?
Fly in
Anyone?
peace.
What's that?
Fly in peace.
Fly in peace. I
Wait,
love
Not
Brian,
pieces.
Fly in one piece.
one
Yeah.
piece.
Brian, we have a guest next week, don't we?
Yeah,
What's
don't
that?
kick hay bales. And,
Kick hay bells, right?
Who's our guest
sure.
next week, Mr. Waller?
we do. I'm looking forward to it. His name's Sean Ashcraft, and he was a student at Brooks School, and I helped train him. And he was one of the first people I talked into the sky. It was his 6th or 7th flight, and he was just a natural. As soon as he got down after his first flight, it's like, I got to buy 3 more paramotors for his 2 kids and his wife. So,
Wow.
I mean, he is totally hooked, and
So cool.
looking forward to hearing the story and catching up next week
Cool.
on ClearPropTV.com.
There you go.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Brian. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. All right, so thank you very much, y'all. And we're Audi 5000. However, we are going to stay here. And if you scroll back up and you find the Zoom ID and passcode, jump on. We're going to chat for a little bit and just talk about whatever.
There
Peace
you go.
out.